Sure.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Monticello City Council to order. Would you please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as Paul Spangler from the Presbyterian Church leads us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, I want to thank you for this day, for our community, for those gathered here, and for all the deliberations and thoughts and planning that has gone into tonight. Be with the communication and with the hearts and minds as we seek out the best ways for our community, for the work that has been going on before this meeting, the work tonight, and the work ongoing. Continue to guide and inspire our community and those that are seeking to do best for all of our neighbors, that you give them a spirit of wisdom and of knowledge, and that your presence might be felt here and to guide them in their ways, both here tonight and also as we go from here tonight. So Lord, we want to thank you for this opportunity that we have in this meeting tonight, all those that are participating, and we put all this into your hands, in your spirit. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please, Jill.
Ms. Muse?
Here.
Mr. Woodham? Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Ms. Vogt?
Here.
Mr. Brock?
Here.
Mr. Burris?
Here.
Mr. Kuhn?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Public participation, in-person participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Those wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to commencement of the meeting and must address the council from the seat and table provided. The public comment must comply with Ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. Corey Conrad?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City staff, and my fellow citizens. I'm here this evening because I saw that on March 27th council meeting, my name was brought up and I was not in attendance. Council seemingly had a poor recollection of what I brought up when I previously came to council. So to that end, Chief, I sent a letter to the mayor and city administrator prior to me presenting my issue on the January 9th council meeting. That video is still available online. I will not rehash it as I prefer not to relive that unnecessary moment again. I will, however, challenge this council to review specifically Ordinance 2019-38. When reviewing that, Monticello is rather unique as compared to a handful of communities I spoke with as it relates to that ordinance. That ordinance is ultimately what led to my experience. I will also ask this council to consider familiarizing yourselves with the city's contract with UpSafety. Ms. Rupiper informed me that UpSafety is responsible for communication on violations to Monticello's residents and visitors. If you review the contract, which I did through a FOIA, it states that the city is responsible. As I stated when I brought this to the city administrator in person, I believe that most things can be handled without an attorney or a FOIA request. I still uphold that. That's part of the reason why we moved to this community is that sense of community. Lawyers and FOIA requests, in my opinion, is not necessary. But if you agree, I do challenge you to review that ordinance, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, approval of documents and action items as listed. Claims report, claims dated April 11, 2023.
Mr. Mayor?
April 4. Oh, I forgot to do remote. Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Problem. I just had a question on tonight's agenda. I noticed there's an agenda item that appears after the closed session. However, there's no mention of the closed session going to be discussing that item. So I was just wanting to inquire as to the order of things and that item after the closed session.
Well, I'm assuming, and Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, that the ordinance that's being proposed after the closed session is what the closed session is about. It's an amendment to the appropriation ordinance. Am I correct, Mr. Summer?
One of the things is the compensation of employee.
Right.
Okay, and that's what the amendment would be. Okay. All right. I was just curious. It just didn't look normal. Thank you. That's all I had to ask.
Thank you. Anyone else remote? Nora? Okay, claims report, we did the claims. Meeting minutes, city council meeting minutes, April 10th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments or questions, city staff?
Go ahead.
Right, no. The ARPA funds, are we just merely the conduit to distribute the ARPA funds?
They came to the city of Monticello for us to disperse as approved by the council. So some of those went to those you see, and then the vast majority of it's going to softer media, filter media, and mixed bank.
That we just, council approved those?
Yeah, they're all in the budget.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. But it comes to the city first and the city decides how that,
Absolutely.
that's it.
Tom?
Yeah, I believe there was an incorrect name put in the minutes as far as the meeting with the Illinois State Senator. I think you had it listed as Sally Turner, I believe. Her name is Doris, I believe.
It's Sally.
No, it's Sally.
There's two terms.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to them and I have the actual.
Okay, I was just curious, because there is a Doris.
There's a Doris Turner also, yes.
So I saw that, it caught
Right.
my eye.
Okay, thanks for asking.
But thank you. In case that was right.
She had a meeting for area school administrators and
Right.
Okay.
Sally Turner.
They're doing town hall hours
Okay,
a few days a month.
just curious, when I saw that, I remembered to see the Doris Turner ads all the time. All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please, Jill?
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Yes.
and Mr. Coon. Passes.
Thank you. Mayor's report. Welcome to the Main Scoop and Ice Cream and Gelato Shop opening this summer at 315 West Main Street in downtown. Willow Branch Kennel has announced plans to open a doggy daycare, grooming, indoor dog park, and training and dog show facility on Old Route 47. Matex of Monticello has broken ground on a new 3,000 square foot training facility on North Market Street. For clarification from last meeting's new business announcements, On Point, a dancewear boutique on West Main Street in the space previously occupied by Bespoke Gift Company. Bespoke has evolved their product line to serve from wholesale capacity only and will no longer utilize the storefront space. The Absent State Productions, a music production studio, has located to the Monticello Professional Building. They will be having a ribbon cutting event on Sunday, May 7th in downtown. This week is National Historic Preservation Week. Follow the City of Monticello's Facebook page for announcements of the 2023 Historic Preservations Awards. Upcoming events, the outdoor season has kicked off. A little chilly some days, but we are outside a lot more. The parklets are going out this week. Monticello Garage Sale Weekend is April 27th through the 29th. A complete listing can be found through the Monticello Area Chamber. The annual Allerton Park Plant Sale is May 5th through 7th. Weekend train rides at the Monticello Railroad Museum begin May 6th and 7th. The annual Kirby Derby is the morning of May the 6th. Tickets are on sale for the Monticello Main Street Whites of Spring Shop Walk held in downtown on Saturday, May 6th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and can be purchased on the Monticello Main Street website. Sunday, May the 7th from 1 to 4, the Downtown Boutique Bash and Market on Main will feature downtown storefronts, live performances from the MHS and Monticello Middle School jazz bands, Moonbeam Coffee, and vendor fair on Main Street. At this time, I would like to read the mayoral proclamation. Mayoral proclamation celebrating 50 years of the Bouquet Shop. Whereas it is the intention of the mayor and city council of the city of Monticello to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals and organizations. And whereas America's progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard. And whereas the Bouquet Shop first was opened by Mary Catlin during prom season in 1973 at 300 South Charter Street. And whereas the business moved up to 100 South Charter Street when Donna Catlin, an indispensable part of the business, worked part-time through pregnancies and raising young children, devoted her creativity and sweet-natured personality to the business, adapting and evolving with ever-changing trends because of her original eye for design. And whereas Donna, husband Steve, and daughter Grace bought the business from Mary in 2001, and whereas Donna and Steve purchased the historic Country Charm building on Market and Marion Streets, renovated it and relocated the business in 2008, and are still there today. And whereas Donna has touched so many lives in Monticello through good times and bad, and with her children and grandchildren growing up in the Bouquet Shop, 4 generations have participated in the business, been a tremendous part of the community, and served the people and community they deeply care about. Now, therefore, I, Larry Stoner, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Monticello, county of Piatt, state of Illinois, do hereby wish to honor and celebrate the Bouquet Shop for their participation and service to the downtown and city of Monticello, and ask that all citizens join with me and the members of the city of Monticello City Council in wishing Steve and Donna Catlin all the best as they continue to serve the community. I think it's very awesome that they've been in business that long. So congratulations to the Catlins. That's the end of the mayor's report. New business, resolution 2023-21, a resolutions for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. I assume I'm going to talk to Jim.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Appreciate your time. It's time for that oil and chip program to be, to have a resolution done that's on the IDOT standard form, and that was part of the packet there. But the attached resolution is presented form requests motor fuel tax funds for our annual seal coat oil and chip program. The city council approved using the MFT funds of $75,000 in the budget. And the council has also budgeted $10,000 for an oil and chip supplemental maintenance program. The supporting document that I have attached is a standard form, which is why it doesn't look like our normal resolutions. It's what we have to do for IDOT. And I just wanted to make sure that you know that we're going to be putting it in the paper after approval here. We'll get it executed if you pass this today. So it's recommended that the city council discuss and approve the resolution 2023-21 in its presented form at today's meeting.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from Jim, for Jim?
I noticed that Eastgate is one of those areas, and I know that it had issues last time we did the oil and chip of getting runoff. Is what precautions are the city we taking to make sure we don't get a lot of runoff? There's a lot of dust that wound up in people's yards, I remember.
Eastgate's kind of, it was its own, had its own unique issues, but we do take precautions in that we sweep after a period of time. They put, they go down with the emulsification material, then they put the rock down and they roll it in. And some does break away after some time, and then we go back with the street sweeper and we pick it up. So we still end up sometimes with some rock that it'll break off. It's kind of the nature of the beast.
Right.
But we pay close attention to places that don't have guttering and.
Right. And it seems like, because I went out there and listened to, they had some of the residents out there. There was a drain that I think some of that stuff went in, and then when they have some flood issues, and that was caused a little flood issues because that drain was.
I don't know and I understand. We ended up cleaning out that storm drain system. It was actually infiltrated with roots.
Okay.
And so the roots are really the cause. typically the stuff will run off. The rock will sit in the bottom of the basins. It doesn't normally transport its way into the pipes. And if it were, it should keep going.
Okay.
But in that case, it had gotten caught in some roots, but we were able to punch through that and get it cleaned up, get the line fixed and everything. So
Okay.
I don't anticipate that would happen again.
Okay.
At least that's the hope.
Okay, I know that was, there was some sensitivity there, so
Yeah.
I would assume that you guys understand.
Yeah.
Doing that,
Yeah, some loads of rock is a little bit dirtier than other loads.
right?
Sometimes it's a little dustier than other times, so.
Yeah.
And I've heard other neighborhoods complain about the dust as well. It's just kind of the material.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2023-21, a resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Once again, I'll ask any other questions or comments. Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Alderman's reports. Mary?
I'd like to thank Ashley and Ian for stepping in and filling those spots when they were vacated, and enjoyed working with both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Really nothing other than to ask Kevin, I'm sure he will, to remind everyone that the city cleanup days are coming up. We won't have another council meeting prior to them. They're the first weekend in May. I think that's May 5, 6, and 7, correct?
Yep.
So the landfill will be open for our generous donation to the residents of Monticello, taking care of their odds and ends, things they want to dispose of. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll hope the weather's decent. You're welcome to come. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm going to give it a pass tonight.
Pardon me?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight? Michael?
I don't have anything tonight.
Thomas?
Nothing.
Ian?
That's right, Mr. Mayor.
Ashley?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
I am going to miss you too. You're several of my appointees, two of my many appointees. You've done a nice job. I appreciate your effort.
It was an honor.
I thought it was nice to have you back again.
It was great.
That was
Anytime.
You bet. Okay, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tomorrow is our career fair at Western Illinois University. I spoke with them earlier today. They're hoping for about 300 students to go through there. So we're hoping to get a few bites on this next testing cycle. Applications are due on the 12th with testing on the 20th. Pretty much we've increased our traffic enforcement at council and other residents' request. We have been getting a lot more compliance. We've sat on Old Route 47 because we did switch the signs out last week. There's a little bit of a buffer. We aren't going to start writing tickets right off the bat. And really, it hasn't been horrible. I've sat out there for about an hour. You get anywhere from 33 to 38 is kind of your average. We had a few today that were about 10, 15 over, but not as, a lot of people are seeing the orange flags starting to slow down. We are borrowing a speed sign from the county. Next week after it's done in D-Land, we're going to set it out and we'll try to get ours up and running to set it out there as well. I had a really good meeting with mental health last week. I was able to reach out to them, had about an hour and a half meeting to see how we could kind of help each other. That went very well. Now we have a few other resources and we kind of now have an idea on what happens when we just start dropping people off at Kirby. Sometimes the better bet is to go to Decatur or Urbana. As along those lines, I did Alice training for Ducky Daycare. I'll do one for mental health here on May 19th. And then I noticed that there wasn't a lot of, everyone hears when bad stuff happens, but I did get a couple of good notices for Officer Foreman and Officer Griswold. They handled some cases over the last week and a half. We've been kind of inundated with mental health and a few other things. But I had people reach out to me over the last week and a half, commending them on how they handled a few calls. We place a letter in their file. Just again, everyone hears the bad stuff. No one wants to hear about the good stuff. So we try to boost the good stuff, put in their file, kind of as an attaboy. So, and that's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the chief? No, I'm not hearing any. City administrators report.
I was going to comment on the speed limit signs are up on Old Route 47. I think we're going to put 2 more up just to attract the eyes of people turning north out of Medical Center Drive and people turning south out of Walden Pond. So we may put up 2 more 35-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. And then I would also like to thank Ashley and Ian for serving community for the first time and second time. It's a pleasure working with both of you. So best of luck. Still have it. Still got your number. You can still have my number. There's 2.
I delete it.
Oh, you can still have my number. No. I got everyone's number. I'm sure you do.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to go into closed session, Personnel 5 ILCS 120/2C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. Is there a motion to go into closed session? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. We will take action at the conclusion of the closed session.
Extenuating.
Okay, we're back in session, open session. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2023-22, an ordinance amending the appropriation for the fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2023, ending on December 31st, 2023 for the city of Monticello, Piatt County, Illinois?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Terry, you got stuff you want to talk about?
So the compensation, as we discussed, and then there's also, we tried to get the green waste facility. We've got an air curtain burner out there. It will not, you can't put in damp leaves. You can't put in wet grass. It smothers it. We've tried to get away from grinding. We used to have an individual that would take the mulch and use it for bedding for his cattle. He is no longer doing that and hasn't for years. So this has just been a struggle. Brett tried to get somebody in to grind last year. And it was a bunch of phone tag, never could get the guy in. He actually showed up and could do the work in February. So we were asking to add $21,000 for grinding. I think we budgeted like 5,000 because we weren't going to be doing it, but and then asking to add $20,000 for street lights and those bills for lighting. That piece of Old Route 47 that we talked about previous council meeting, and we've reduced the speed to 35 miles an hour. Ameren got us a quote, so we'd like to go ahead and get Ameren to install those lights. And that would be for that $20,000. And then we would like the council to add $15,000 for a citywide telephone system update. These phones we have currently are unserviceable, would be fair. And we've got some thoughts and ideas with the new system. to alleviate some of the calls that the utility billing clerk has to take. We're trying to alleviate that pain and time that burdens the utility billing clerk up front. So those three things, the 21,000 for grinding, the 20,000 for streetlights, if you would be so kind, we can get those installed this year. And then 15,000 for the citywide, and that's citywide, all department telephone system upgrade.
Your guy that's going to do grinding is going to do when? You mentioned February, you're talking,
No,
or is he going to do something now?
he was on site and we asked him to go ahead and do it.
It looks great. It does?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
We were out of room on the leaves bin
Sorry about that.
and the grass. The grass bin, it's great living in a town that has these beautiful old trees and everything, but a lot of leaves. So we just had him grind them while he was
I
here.
haven't had him, but I
Yeah.
seen whether you were talking, have you got him booked for next year then?
We're trying to,
Stay ahead?
we're just trying to explore any and every avenue where we do not have to grind because we can't, the space is limited to spread the mulch because the individual taking it is not taking it. We're trying to be as efficient as we can with that green waste facility. And grinding is something we would love to avoid. So we will still be looking at other options, whatever we can do. But yes, for FY '24, it may be $30,000 to grind.
Okay, now that you've asked for that or included, want that included, we need to amend, or is it already drawn into the ordinance?
So ordinance 2023-22, as presented to you this evening, has all of those items
In it? Okay.
included. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I don't want somebody to call me on something and say I did it incorrectly, so.
Nope. What we discussed is included in ordinance 2023-22 as.
That's all I wanted to know. That's fine.
Good question.
Any questions, comments?
What's a grinder cost? Our very own grinder.
Ooh. I have no idea. We can look, well, so let me look into that, Rodney.
We already had it ground though, like it's.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to move in here, but I'm like, if we're, if it's $30,000 a year.
And perhaps with the operations we have now with the air curtain burner, perhaps it can be a smaller grinder.
Because you're talking about a giant grinder to grind that big pile once a year.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at every other week, these, during the summer, somebody's chucking stuff in a grinder, it doesn't have to be.
Well, I think there's been an inordinate amount of stuff out there because we've had so many storms, big windstorms. And there's a lot of trees getting hauled all the time.
Yeah.
We're still going to have storms.
Yep, you're right. You're right. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please? Ordinance 2022 or 2023-22.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat, Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris.
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Anyone want to be the person to move for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Done all that.
May 88th.
I